wanted to put together this video to explain what we're looking for as far as the steps we're looking for as far as putting the trailer together, the cinematic highlight, just sort of some things that we like to do for organization that we feel like will help not only you put it together but also us be able to do any final retouches that we need to the product before we go out final with it. So first and foremost, if you are you have to be using the most recent copy of Premiere Pro Creative Cloud 2015. If you are not using that version of Creative Cloud 2015, then don't take this job. It's not for you. We downsampled the video files. We brought them through a compressor that compressed them to a smaller size. Those compression options seem to cause some conflicts in some people's systems. So I highly recommend you download a few files to try it first, import them into your system, make sure that you can work with them fairly easily before you start doing anything moving forward. We have had a couple people who have downloaded the files and started working with the project and had a problem with them. If you run into a problem with the files, don't stress it. We'll just cancel the job and move on. If you have a fast enough internet connection, we're happy to send you the full-size uncompressed files as well if you'd like to try that. It's about 60 gigs in size though, so you'd have to be able to download those. Other than that, what you should be seeing when you go into the FTP to download the files is a bunch of video files, as well as a bunch of some audio files and a project file. I've already done some work in the project to get you started and make things a little bit easier for you to move forward, but in that turn, I'd also like to go forward with this process in a certain manner. The first thing that you'll notice is that if you look into the bins, I've organized all of the bins with all the information. You'll find we have audio, we have some B-roll which we use for some cutaway shots, bride prep, there's unfortunately 2 B-rolls here, but cake cutting, ceremony setup, the first look. If there is one, you'll find it in this bin. If there's not, it means there wasn't a first look. Groom prep, introductions, first dance and speeches, parent dances, reception dancing, as well as any reception setup. Any soundtrack items, I'd like you to store them in here in the soundtrack folder, and the sequences have all the sequences in them, including bride prep, groom prep, and we'll go over that in a minute, but the multicam, the trailer, the feature edit, the synced and the unsynced. For the most part, we'll only be creating trailers here, so you won't have to worry about the feature edit part of it, and for the most part, you want to work within the synced bin here, looking for ceremony and stuff, because I've already synchronized that for you to make your life easier. In the unsynced bin, it's just the unsynced version. So what you want to start with is, I would like for you to start by going into the synced bin and immediately starting to work with the ceremony, introductions, first dance, cake cutting, and parent dances. We've gone ahead and synchronized those for you. What we want to do is go ahead and have you create a multicam for this. It's a very simple process if you've never done it before. It's very simple. What you do is you take the ceremony, and the first thing we do is we grab all the video tracks by clicking Alt and then selecting them, and then we right click and we nest those into one video sequence. From there, we right click the nest and click multi-camera and enable. This is going to enable multicam and give us options to look at multiple camera angles. Okay? The next thing you want to do is you want to start cleaning up this multicam. This process is going to be required for you to put the cinematic trailer together anyway, so what we want to do is try to find the beginning of the ceremony. A lot of times you can click on different camera angles, different ones to see where the ceremony begins. In particular, when the first person comes down the aisle, that's usually the best part to start. And that's right about here. Right there. So we're going to hold click C and hold Shift and click and delete all the rest of this excess right off. Okay? Right click, ripple delete to send it all the way back, and then the next thing we want to do is we want to find the end. At the end here, what we're looking for is we're looking for the last set of family to pass through the frame. Probably the same people who first started. So this is close enough. We're going to hit cut. Again, C, Shift, click, and then we're going to delete the excess off the end here. Okay. This is going to delete this. And now we're going to be looking at one nice clean ceremony single track. The next thing we want to do is multicam this. And the way that we're going to multicam it is we're going to use the multicam function inside of the monitor here, and we're going to be looking at all the different views of the monitors here. And as we go through, we're going to be watching and selecting the best camera angles that we have available to us, cutting away a few things interesting, using the best cameras, and then clicking through them, essentially creating a quick create a nice multicam over here, and what it's going to do is it's going to chop it all up for you so that it views, and we use the multiple camera angles in a very much like a broadcast style edit. Okay, the only thing you're going to have to make any adjustment to on here with the ceremony is to isolate this audio. A lot of times what I like to do is I like to find one audio track for each piece. So in other words, the bride coming down the aisle here would be one piece. So we get to that point here. I want to see this track right here. Number 2, number 3. Try to find that point. At any rate, when I find the point where the audio is cleanest in one of these audio tracks, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to disable. Let's try this right here. So this seems to be the change, so I'm going to create a cut along here, and what I want to do is I want to use one of the random audio pieces here by disabling this here. It gives me just one track of audio for them coming down the aisle. I will try to find the nicest one if I can by using the, I'll turn around and enable these back in again, and I'm going to use the S tool. Sounds good enough to me. I'll take a look at it. A lot of feedback on that. Okay. Seems like this audio track right here is the best one. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete and disable the rest of these audio tracks. Just find the right one for this, and then when you find him getting to this part where he starts speaking, again, try to find the best audio track for it. Probably going to be one of these 2 green audio tracks. So let's go ahead and solo.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Yep, this sounds good
the
to me.
The grace and the peace.
So I'm going to go ahead and just, again, keep going through here and disabling to isolate the audio so where you're working with the best piece of audio we have. Once you're done going through this, it should only take you about, this is a 40-minute ceremony, it should only take you about an hour and a half, but you go through and multicam this through, as well as go ahead and clean up the audio pieces here. You'll have yourself a completed piece of should probably look something like this. Okay. And eventually everything will be cleaned up, so you're dealing with one audio source for everything, or up to 2 audio sources for everything. This will help you create a multicam. Okay. If you choose, and this will help you with the ceremony, do the same thing with the introductions, first dances, speeches. What you'll do here with the intros, first dances, try to find them coming in. Probably going to be right here. Okay. We'll cut this down. We'll get rid of the rest of this stuff here, and we'll shift this piece down. And we'll look for the end here, the end of their dance, probably somewhere right around here. Somewhere around there. Clean this all up. We'll do the same thing for the beginning of the speeches here. Probably right here, where the clips start to come in. And then separate them by about 3 seconds. Sliding all this down. Okay. And we'll drop these and bring these down to the right track here. Coming to the end of the speeches here where they start clapping, and we'll cut that off as well and get rid of the excess over here. Then we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to grab this section here, we're going to nest it. I'm going to right click multi-camera enable. And the same thing here, we're going to nest this. Right click multi-cam enable. And then we're going to go ahead and remove these tracks because we don't need them. We only need one track here for audio. And looking at this audio, you can see it's peaked out pretty bad. I'm going to just disable this audio and use just this one. all of this one seems peaked as well, so let me just disable this one and use this one instead. Okay, that'll be good enough for the first dance. And then what we're going to do is the opposite with this. We know that this is going to sound pretty decent for the speeches, so we'll right click and enable this and get rid of that. And then what I also try to do is I also try to go into the audio channels and check off the left channel so that this will set itself to 2 channels. Okay, and then go ahead and actually use this here multi-camera, and then go ahead and...
I just want to welcome everybody to our fair city of New Bedford, currently the fishing capital of the United States, and of course 150 years ago.
Okay, going through the different multicam processes, okay? Once you've finished multicamming the introductions, first dance, and speeches, then go on to the cake cutting. The same procedure. Find the beginning of them starting to cut the cake right here, and find the end of them. Usually they'll kiss and then walk away. Something like that. Cut the end off. And then we'll nest these two together. Right click multi-camera enable, and then we will actually disable the shorter of the 2 tracks and do the same thing for the parent dances. Wait for her and dad to come on the stage, cut it down, delete the excess. Same thing here, get rid of this extra. Grab these, nest them. Right click multi-camera enable, and then just delete one of these tracks, whichever one makes the most sense to get rid of the video. Okay? Once you've finished doing this and you've gone through and you've multicammed all of them, you should have a clean cut copy of multicam on everything. What we'd like you to do is go into the sequences bin, open the multicam, and what we're going to have you do is drag in the synchronized sequences into the multicam. So we'll go into sequences, we're going to go into synced, and we're going to drag ceremony first. We want 3 seconds of space between each section. So we're at 40:59 right now. We'll go to right about there. We'll drag the intros and first dances in as well. Okay. Giving it about 3 seconds of room here at the end. About 56 seconds, that's fine. We'll go to cake cutting, and then again 3 seconds of room. We'll do parent dances, and then for each one of these, what I want you to do is put an exponential fade for the audio on each end of the audio, and a dip to black on each one of the pieces of video all the way through, so that everything cleanly dips in and dips out when you're watching it. So it'll look a little something like this.
Hands to the newlyweds.
Wait 3 seconds, and then we should start. Okay? So once this is all set, you'll have completed the entire multicam portion of this, and you'll be focusing then on starting to create the select reel for the groom bride prep and the B-roll. So I think it makes your job a lot easier when you create a select reel to know exactly what you have. So it makes it a lot easier. It may be different than what you're used to doing, but I'll tell you, this might save you a lot of time in the long run. Gives you a really good idea of what you have. So what we're asking you to do here is go into the groom prep section, and the bride prep section here. And what we want you to do is just watch through each clip and try to create an in and out point, and then drag both the audio and video onto this timeline here for bride prep, so that when we're all done, we have a good idea of all the pieces of footage that we have. So go through and create a select reel.
Bare boned.
Okay, and then you can then take, and once you've done this for the bride prep and groom prep, you should have those set as well. So when we're all done, usually this takes about 2 to 3 hours at most. 2 to 3 hours at most, not a lot of time. And it really sets you up for huge success going forward, because then everything's prepared for you, putting the trailer together. It's just a matter of dragging and dropping the clips where it needs to go. So you've got your ceremony, introductions, cake cutting, parent dances. You have your total multicam. We're going to have the groom with the bride prep, where it's going to have a bunch of clips, and then the groom prep, which will have the same. Now we can start putting our trailer together. The only thing I ask of you when putting the trailer together is that when you select a song, you try to select something that is not commonly used all the time, something different, something interesting. We'll try to help you with songs if you need some help. We'll ask you to send the song to us for approval before you start doing the edit. That's really important. Just send us the song choice. All you have to do is message us and tell us, hey, this is the song we want to use. We'll let you know if it's not going to work and let you go back and find another song. We do want to make sure that we keep control over the songs, but take the songs and import them into the soundtrack section and then drag them into the trailer section for the base of what you're going to do there. From there, what you'll do is, for sections that are involved in the ceremony, intros, cake cutting, parent dances, for any of those sections, we're going to ask you to go back to the multicam here and take them out to put them into the trailer. So, for example, if you wanted a section in here where the priest is speaking and you wanted to use this section, what I'm asking you to do is take that section here and copy all of it out. You don't have to copy just copy all of it out, okay, and bring it onto the trailer. Okay, the reason that I ask that is because if you were to choose a camera angle that I didn't like, I could easily go in and change it afterward using the multi-camera option. Okay, so if I say, for example, wanted to change the camera angle, I want to be able to do that. Okay, if I just and the same thing with the audio track as well. Even if you didn't use these audio tracks, I want to be able to have them, because I may decide that I want to use this audio track instead, and I don't want to go back and have to resync them again. Okay, so it's very, very important when you're using a piece, like say if you decide to use a piece of the speech here, cut the section out of the speech, and then drag the whole piece into the trailer, and use the whole chunk of it. Because then at that point, I can multicam this how I want to. I can say, okay, well, I think that I'd like this angle. I'd like
I guess the ship
this
does.
To go first,
but
then cut of this.
He's safe. He's in the engine.
You and I may
so
not
we're
agree on
too
that,
worried
but
about
at
him
least
being
I have the
underwater
option to do
so.
it when I'm ready to go and make final edits.
So we were just totally pleased.
Okay. So having that available in the trailer makes a huge, in the trailer place, makes it super easy. As well with the groom prep and bride prep, what this says is, hey, listen, I used these 3 clips during the trailer. Disable the audio, by the way, if you decide that's what you want to do, but definitely drag the audio in. Okay.
So
you may want to
we
use
were
this
just
and turn around and go for
totally
her,
pleased.
to then bride
Everything
prep.
that
At least I have the audio if I want to bring it in later. So then I can turn around and enable this. And I can, if I want to, I can turn it down by using the audio gain and subtracting the gain out. Okay? So these are the key parts of it. Other than that, you're free to do it from your creative standpoint however you want. But basically what we want to have is we want to have it on the trailer sequence. We want to have a select reel for bride prep, a select reel for groom prep. We want to have the ceremony, multicam, the intros, cake cutting, parent dances, and then a total multicam clip. So that when you submit this project back to us, this is what we're looking at, and then the trailer is complete. If you have any questions, feel free to send them along.